Hello, everybody, and welcome to Public Speaking. My name is Kathy Kruska, and I'm going to be your instructor. And we're using a little bit of a new technique this semester. This is a pilot test that I am participating in along with you. And so I'll explain the process and how it works in a few moments. But for right now, I just want to introduce somebody who's going to be there helping us along the way. So Ms. Dana Cuellar is there, and she is going to be our point person before the sessions begin and end to make sure that our technology is up and it's working on your end over in Logan. I'm actually way over in Van Dusen teaching the class. So it's actually not that far. But anyway, so I'm over here in a room all by myself because I'm old and I need to be a little bit protective of my health. So rather than have to make you guys do a class online, we thought we would use some innovation, some new techniques, which is why we're going to be utilizing this format. The content's always going to be the same, just a little bit different delivery. But I think you're going to like it. I think it's going to be very cool. And it's very cutting edge, so it's kind of cool. Okay, so Ms. Cuellar, I think we're good. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
Just welcome to Fairfield if you're new. My office is upstairs by the elevator, so if you need me anytime during the class, it's up to the computer just run upstairs to get.
Oh, and the other thing is that if anybody wants to join a club, she's our moderator for the Latinx group on campus, and it's an amazing organization. And I know that she's always looking for new and active members. So if anybody's interested, again, you can meet with her and join the club. Yay! All right, thank you.
The Shanika Award is over the rest of the club, so if you're interested in learning to see what other clubs are out there, you'll be the one.
All right, so the way this is laid out, I cannot see everybody, so some of you might be outside of the camera. If you do have a question, put your arm in and somehow, or tell somebody that you have a question or shout it out or something like that. We're going to be a little informal so that I can make sure that I hear your question. When you are asking a question, if you could just pull your mask down below your mouth while you ask it so that I can hear and it's not muffled, that'll be terrific. But then put it right back up after you are done with the question, okay? All right. So first, let me take attendance and make sure who's here for our group A. And I'm going to call you just by your last name this time. Clance, Duarte Matthias. Anybody there by that? Duarte Matthias. Garner.
Here.
Thank you. Gilbert.
Here.
Thank you. Gray.
Here.
Oh, I love it. Hagen.
Here. Oh. What's your name?
There's two Hagens. I have a Savannah Hagen.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. McDiarmid.
Here.
Okay. Murr.
Here.
Oatman.
Here.
Thomas.
Here.
Okay, anybody's name I did not call? Okay, good. All right, terrific. So this means that you are in Section A, 10 students of a total of 20 students. Section B will be coming on Thursday. I am recording today's session for them to watch on their own. When they come in on Thursday, I will be recording that session for you to be able to watch on your own. There will be different information presented, so make sure that you watch them. There'll be a little repeat only for this first week, but generally speaking, the first week, every class period that we meet will be a different set of information and lecture. 1 second. I've been known to cuss, and I don't necessarily want it to go in everywhere. Cussing is good. We'll hear about that. All right, not swearing, just cussing. Okay, so in public speaking, this is a course that's really going to be about you doing a lot of talking. So there will be some occasions for us to have a couple of impromptu types of practice exercises to get you up, walking around, speaking, and that kind of thing. But we will always maintain social distance as well as the masks, etc. But when it comes time to actually delivering your speeches, we will be using a couple of different methodologies. One will be a telephone speech or an iPhone or a Collaborate where you are giving it just to me. Two are going to be recorded, and you can record them on your laptop, your iPhone, what have you. And so I will give you more specifics about that. And then there's going to be another one that you need to give live to your classmates, and you're going to sign up for the days when you will deliver those on Zoom to a small group of participants. Okay, so it's about learning how to be a great public speaker. So up here is an agenda, and when you come in, you're going to see the agenda up here, and that's going to be what we're going to cover. And as I said, this was going to be, I'm going to use it like any other kind of a whiteboard to do demonstrations and bring information to your attention. You also may bring up a couple of pieces of information. So for right now, I'd like for everybody to bring up your cell phone. So everybody open up your cell phone because you're going to add me to your contacts. So go into contacts and put there for Ms. K, and here is the phone number, 910-695-3978. So again, 910-695-3978. I also want you in the same contact then to put in my email. KRUSKAC, all lowercase, at sandhills.edu. So Kruska, C, KRUSKAC, at sandhills.edu. I will respond to the emails very quickly. I have no life, and I love emails. So if you have any questions or issues or comments, concerns, always use the email if you can. My commitment to you is to respond within 24 to 48 school hours, and I will get back to you. If you use phone, you'll be required to leave a phone message. This is my office phone, but I'm not in it. So if you use this phone number, leave a message. It comes directly into my phone, and I'll be able to listen to it and then respond. If you want me to call you back, please, 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 carefully and slowly leave your cell phone number for me to call you back. All right? So this is the point of contact. And let me give you a little bit of background about me. I have been teaching this course here at Sandhills for about close to 12 years now. But before that, I came from business. In fact, I retired from business about in 2002 after holding the position of a senior vice president for organizational development. I worked in an international organization printing, business printing operation, and I managed human resources, corporate training university, all compensation and benefits, safety, because we were printing press operations with 7, 8 plants in the United States and Canada, risk management, etc. What's significant about this, and the reason I say that, oh, and that was for about 1,000 plus employees. The reason I bring that up is not necessarily to brag, but to help you see that what you're learning in this class is going to give you a competitive advantage out there in the business world. My bachelor, well, I have an Associate of Arts degree, and then I have a Bachelor's of Arts degree in English, not in business, not in management. 15 years after that, I got a master's degree in communication. Again, not business, not management. And yet I was able to get promoted and go all the way up in the chain of commands in a number of different companies, starting off as a very young training specialist for restaurant operations and moving all the way up, as I said, to a senior VP. I broke the glass ceiling in the early 2000s, and in that process, I did it because of my ability to speak in front of large groups, to train in front of small groups. I've talked to audiences at conventions for Ernst Julius International, as well as for Pip Printing and others, and audiences well over 1,000 people. So the techniques that I'm going to be teaching you in this class are proven, they're practical, and they work. Not only in dates, face-to-face public speaking, but also in mediated, which is why you're going to be doing some speeches from a media perspective. In fact, I have designed a website for the Effective Communication Association, ECAATSCC.org. And this is our club for students, ECAATSCC.org, made up of students who are working to really fine-tune their public speaking skills, their interpersonal communication skills, their social justice communication skills, etc. So check us out. We also are on Instagram. So with that, you're going to be learning a lot. But public speaking is about doing. You don't have any exams in this class. Your exams are going to be your speeches. So when you're standing up in front of a class, think of it as receiving an exam. Your ability to really hone in on your audience, to be dynamic, to have a message that's well built with good defense, it's logical, is what this is going to be all about. Now, you are going to be required to participate in a couple of discussion forums, and let me see, discussion forums in this class? No DFs. You're going to be doing them in this classroom while we're seated. But you are going to do 2 small papers. Those 2 small papers are going to be analyzing and doing a critique of 2 speeches. One speech is by an American, and the other speech is by an international person from Sweden. And based on what you're learning in class, you're going to critically analyze the effectiveness of those presentations as if you are learning, and you are learning from a seated perspective. You see, public speaking, and I come from California, public speaking is required for all college graduates in the state of California. And the reason is not so much for the students' ability to communicate, to speak publicly. It's more important for you to be able to think critically about who's speaking to you. Who's on the news? Who's in politics? Who are your professors? Who's the random person sitting on the street, or who's the minister, rabbi, or imam in front of you when you are going to a worship service? So I am going to be challenging a lot of your existing attitudes, values, and beliefs in this class. That's my job. My job is to actually make you uncomfortable sitting in your seat. Because what you want to do is to analyze and critique me and each other. And what you're going to be looking for is bullshit. You're going to be listening for it. You're going to try to identify it. And you're going to challenge people on it. Because that's what we need to do in today's world, either through media, by watching it on television, by getting it through whatever Snapchat or Instagram or whatever you're using, TikTok, etc. You have to be a thinker for yourself. That means you may even be questioning some of the things you were raised at home with, right? So let me ask you this question by a show of hands. How many of you are registered to vote? All right. The rest of you, because there were a few, please register to vote. I cannot express enough about the importance for everybody's voice to be heard. And to be heard in the United States is to cast a vote. And there's a lot of stuff going on with people trying to mess up the voting process. So my suggestion is to register to vote. If you want to get a sample ballot, if you want to get an absentee ballot, whatever, just vote. Do or go to the polls and vote. Do whatever you need to do to please let your voice be heard. Okay? Now, having said that, my background, as I said, is really going to be practical based. I am not going to give you a long, drawn-out history of rhetoric or rhetorical thought. I will give you a short little lesson next class about it, so you'll want to tune in because it's the foundation for Western, and we are a Western country, is for how we build arguments. So we're going to look at logic, ethos, and pathos, and so that you can understand how to be in search of the truth. Okay? Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about your syllabus. So if you've got a laptop or your cell phone or whatever, have you open it up and pull up your syllabus. And log in, pull up the syllabus in the class. All right, I'm going to highlight a couple of elements on the syllabus for you to be aware of. In colleges and universities, the syllabus is our contract. It's my commitment of how I'm going to teach the course. And by you remaining in the class is your commitment to follow the guidelines and the expectations that are printed in the syllabus. So it's our contract. By mutual agreement, we are going to abide by it. When you look at the syllabus underneath the course description, I'd like for you to scroll down and you're going to see a whole bunch of boxes. It's a big chart. It's tiny, it's hard to see. So you can look at it on your own if you're relying on your cell phone right now. That box represents what our requirements by the state of North Carolina are for a hybrid course. I want you to notice how many hours you are expected to be in the classroom and how many hours you're expected to do online work. The bulk of your work will be online. So keep that in mind. So yes, we're going to be in class, but class is going to be used as a lecture opportunity for you to learn of what we're going to be doing, as well as for you to actually deliver some speeches. All the faculty information is there, the course goals are there. But I'd like you to scroll down to where it says your student learning outcomes. At the completion of this class, you should be able to do these things at a C level or higher, all right? And the first thing you're going to do is to develop a special occasion speech, and you are going to deliver it in a recorded setting. That means that you need to think of it as if you were doing it on a stage, sound stage, where you are dressing for power and influence. You are pretending to speak to an audience. You are using hand gestures, body language, eye contact, and you are not standing there reading from a piece of paper like this is my speech I'm giving. No. You are going to know your speech so well that you may glance down to look at a note and then back at your audience. Okay, now this special occasion speech I want you to really perfect, because this is going to be your baseline. This is the point where you are going to complete a self-assessment of what are your strengths and your areas for improvement. I'm going to give you feedback to also take that in. That self-assessment then, pre-assessment, is going to be compared against the end of the semester with your last speech that you do and a post-assessment. And hopefully you're going to see a whole lot of growth. I know you will. You'll be amazed at how much better you become. Now, a special occasion speech is only 30 to 90 seconds. Very short. It's one of a very common type of speech that are given, so many of you have probably already given them. It's a public thank you for receiving an award. It's an introduction of a person, a guest speaker, or somebody at a meeting. It is a eulogy where you say some wonderful words about a person who has died. It's a testimonial where you are bearing your soul and giving information, like in a special faith-based setting. It can be a toast, a toast to the bride or groom at a wedding, or parents at an anniversary party, or whatever. And some of you may even have a special occasion requirement coming up where you have to give a speech, in which case then you can prepare for this class and be all ready for it. Okay, 30 to 90 seconds. That's our baseline. That's our starting point. The best speeches are short speeches oftentimes. Okay. From there, you'll see the next thing is going to be a personal narrative speech. And that's going to be 3 to 3.5 minutes. I'm going to give you a lot of guidelines on that, and you will have rubrics, grading rubrics for all of these. And a personal narrative is going to be basically where you tell your audience a story about something that happened to you, that you learned a lesson, and you're telling it to others so that they will learn the same lesson and not make the same mistakes that you've made. All right, The next speech is going to be a difficult speech. This one's going to be 5 to 7 minutes, and it is your Global Scholars speech. If any of you want to become a Global Scholar and graduate as a Global Scholar of Distinction, stated on your Associate of Arts diploma, at the bottom of the syllabus will be information of the person to contact. I teach all my classes as Global Scholars. And the reason is because globally is where we need to be, and that's where I did an awful lot of my business work. And I think it's what we need to do. All right. It will include a PowerPoint. It will include, and you're going to be doing a PowerPoint the Ms. K way, not the way you've been doing them, not the way most of your professors do them. You're going to be doing them the Ms. K way, which is the way you do them for Power and Impact as a visual aid. You're also going to be required to do research and cite your sources inside your speech to your audience. All right, and you're going to be able to see a speech I gave, a talk I gave to our faculty on our campus where I did some self-disclosures of some pretty tough information where I wove in sources. Okay? And some other student speeches, you'll be able to see how they do it. And then you're going to have to be able to answer questions. And you're going to use a technique I'm going to teach you, which is repeat, affirm, answer the question. And that's really good for those occasions in the world where you may have to do hostile speeches in hostile environments. Believe me, I've done that. I've had to walk into a group of people and say, we're going to have layoffs. 10% of you will not be here in 6 months. You can imagine how they wanted to shoot the messenger. All right, so we're going to talk about how do you handle tough questions. The final speech is the culminating event. This is the one that really determines if you pass the course. And it's going to be a persuasive speech where you're going to look at the opposition. You're going to be using a specialized template to do that. So it's a motivational approach to convince people to believe, to think, to act, to do something that's passionate to you, that's very, very important to you. And so that's going to be coming up, and that also is 5 to 7 speeches. You're going to learn how to write grammatically correct full sentence outlines according to a template format, and that's posted in Moodle for you. And you're going to, as I said, critique 2 historically significant speeches. And you're also going to look at the different techniques and strategies by discussing them with your classmates and giving them some discussion feedback. And then I said the pre and post assessments. So that's your syllabus for most important. But I'd like for you to scroll, and your textbook is free and it's online, and you will need to reference the textbook when you are writing your assessment of the speeches you're going to analyze. And you're simply going to do that by having your sentence, and right after that, you're going to put P38, okay? And that means that you are referring to page 38. Or you're going to have your information, and in parentheses, you're going to say Ms. K, and then you're going to give the date of the talk, so 8/18, right? That's how you are going to cite your sources on your critical analysis. When you're doing your critical analysis, I want you to keep in mind the language of public speaking. You will learn our terms. You're also going to be learning about some theories, and absolutely you're going to be learning about practices. So when you are criticizing others, you need to think about What does it say in the textbook? What have I said in the lectures? And refer to those when you are using a term or a theory or a practice. Okay. At this point, let me check in. Do you have any questions? And it's hard for me to see everybody, so either shout out or raise your hand. Are there any questions so far? All right, no questions are good. All right, scroll more down on your syllabus and you will see the areas of assessment and the grading scale. 60% of your grade is based on the actual speeches that you develop and deliver. Okay, so that's going to be your outlines and the speech delivery. 20% will be based on in-class discussion, your critical analysis papers, etc. And then the other 20% is going to be on your orientation quizzes, the quality and depth of your pre and post assessments, and other kinds of activities. There are some extra credit kinds of opportunities sprinkled in if you need, or for you to decide if you want to partake in those. The next item, scroll down, is academic integrity. You have an orientation quiz that needs to be completed as soon as possible, but there is a drop deadline. If you don't complete that orientation by a specific date, then I will have to drop you. All right? And what you'll need to do is to make sure that you are looking at it from an academic integrity. There will be a statement in there about academic integrity in that quiz. And there's also going to be a statement about how to behave on campus with COVID-19. So, because we care about you, we care about others. So make sure that you complete that. There's also an opportunity for you to turn in a self-introduction, which is like an elevator speech. And that's explained in the assignment, so you'll take a look at that. And make sure that you do those according to the deadlines on your schedule. Basically, the elevator speech is due by the 23rd, and the orientation quiz is due by the 26th. I'm also going to send out to you a private self-introduction that's not for anybody's eyes but me. All right. This is going to be coming to you in an email as an attachment. I'll also post it in Moodle. And it's for you to respond in case there's any needs or special things you believe I need to know about you. All right. And that's important because we're all special and we're all different. And we all have very different circumstances. Childcare issues, transportation, maybe you've got a ticket and you got to get it taken care of, but you don't have the money. I have an amazing connection to resources, and I can help you with all those things I just said by connecting you to people who can give you the help you need. So I also am going to ask you if you have a particular pronoun that you prefer me to utilize when I refer to you. So keep that in mind if you have one, and you can tell me what that is. Let me know what your career path or your goals are, because when you come up and you say, oh, I can't think of a topic for a speech, that's what we will tap into. That's going to help us to come up with some topics for you. Any other special needs? And even if the answer is none, just say none, but please fill it out and return it back to me. Okay. There are student responsibilities. Keep scrolling down in the syllabus. You can read those on your own. The only attendance policy is that you attend this session. So you are expected to be here only on Tuesdays. However, you are expected to watch Thursday lectures, Thursday lessons. They will be posted in Moodle where it says recorded sessions. So just click on those and you can look at them and you will not miss information of what I covered with the group B. Okay, so please make sure that you do that. And they will be expected, group B, I hope you're listening, you are going to then have to log on and watch the recorded sessions that I deliver here for group A. Okay, so that way you stay informed all the time. If you miss, I can be flexible in terms of sickness, especially with COVID-19, but if you miss 10 consecutive days, 14, 2 weeks worth of classes, then I am supposed to drop you. Please use only SCC email. Speech requirements are explained here, so you'll want to look at those before you do any delivery or recording. So if you have any questions about those, and by the way, if you read all this stuff through and you have a question and you want to ask it, but you're not meeting until the following Tuesday, send it to me in an email before the Thursday class. And what I will do in the beginning of all Tuesday classes and Thursday classes is I will answer the questions that are sent to me by students in the opposite sections. Now also look at inclusivity. This is really important to me. I spent the summer on my own personal journey unpacking all of my white privilege, all of my white advantages. I did some journaling and I read a very powerful book. I am soon to read another couple powerful books. One's called Dear White America. Another one is called White Fragility. I've also read White Like Me, which is very eye-opening. And that's important for inclusivity because I have seen mistakes that I have done in my classes. And I'm trying to make a commitment to change some of my mistakes so that I don't come across as so white or disadvantage anybody who is not white. And by white, I mean I am cisgender, heterosexual, able-bodied, financially secure, and the list goes on. Whereas some of my students are not any one or many of those things. And I want to be a better teacher, so I want to remain sensitive. That inclusivity is statement there is what I am putting out there. I want this to be an inclusive class. I want this to be a safe class, regardless of who you are, who you love, or any other elements of your being. And I want to respect your identity intact. So keep that in mind that I will make mistakes, but I hope that you will call me in instead of calling me out. And I suspect that you as students will make some mistakes as well because that's part of your own personal learning journey. And I won't call you out, but instead I will call you in to help you inside to see what you may have said that was mindless, and so that you could be more mindful, or just plain hurtful. Okay, so that's the way we're going to operate with our class. All right, so I also recognize religious and cultural observances. If you respect and Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Ramadan, any of those, let me know and in writing as explained here, and I will make sure to honor whatever that is that you would like to be able to take advantage of or participate in. We care about your mental health. We also care about your protection against harassment of any form, and keep that in mind. And as I said at the beginning of the class, your vote matters, and there is a hyperlink to our website for ECA. That is it. Oh, and farther on down is the information also about the for the Global Scholars. So that is our syllabus, and that is our contract. So any general questions or any specific questions you might like to ask? No? Everything's very clear? You got it all? It makes sense? Well, the good news, you can also always pull up the recording and look at it if you did miss anything. Okay. My office hours are 4 to 6 p.m. on Mondays and Thursdays. So, and they're listed in the Moodle homepage. So I want to be sensitive to working people. And if you need to schedule time to have some quality one-to-one, then just send me an email to schedule an appointment between that 4 to 6 period on either a Monday or a Thursday. I do not accept late work. And my commitment to you is that I will turn around your completed assignments pretty much within a week, 10 days at the farthest. So I will commit to not being late on giving you feedback as well. Let's see. I think I covered everything. We've got the schedule. I'll tell you what, I will hang here. I'm going to go ahead and let you out early. If anybody wants to stick around and on camera ask me a question, you may do that. I'm going to turn the recording off though, in case your question is private.